want the top. All my people right there in the back of the spot, I need the top.
Hi everyone, Sean here for theworldcupnow.com, bringing you your Barclays Fantasy Premier League tips for game week number 2. Now first off, I need to apologize. I did publish a game week 1 video. However, due to, I guess you can call it a copyright infringement request from the Premier League, the video was actually blocked. So I think I got like 100 or some odd views before it was taken down. So I do apologize for that. The post I think may still be up, but I'm not too sure if you can see the video. I'm not too sure how YouTube works that. But hopefully this week we have a little bit better luck. As you can see in the intro, I actually just revised my previous intro from last year and put some new music to it, so hopefully that will stick and there will be no problems moving forward. So, again, welcome to the league if you're new. Thank you for subscribing to all the new subscribers in the last couple weeks. And again, you're going to have a great community here. We have a lot of tips. And I always try and help you guys out because that's what I want to do and that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy thinking about how I can help you guys and just come out and kind of give you a different perspective from my perspective on what I think might happen or might not happen this week. So what I saw from last week and a lot of chatter was that a lot of people were kind of knee-jerking, if you will, in terms of their transfers. They saw people who had achieved a lot of points like Sterling, Sigurdsson, Ramsey, and they're like, oh, you know, and Fabregas too, and I'll get into that in a little bit too. And they're like, oh man, I need to get him because he's not on my team. So they did these transfers and whatnot, and as a result, they increased in value. And you know, if you were late to the boat, and this is what my first video was about, was if you were late to that trade, you're already paying up for it. Luckily, this early on in the season, there hasn't been any price drops. But that will play a part as we move forward into the season. So that being said, if you've made transfers, great. If not, what I suggest and what I am doing is I'm actually waiting until after this game week, and then I'll consider maybe making a transfer for game week 3, only because you'll have 2 free transfers, and then you just kind of stay at 2 free transfers. You don't get 3 and then 4. You stay at 2. If you use 2, you get 2 moving forward. If you use 1, then you'll get another 1. You'll be back up to 2. And if you use 2, you're back down to 0. So that's how that works in terms of transfers. Now, in terms of Fabregas, a lot of people had Mata and they're like, oh man, Fabregas is going to be it. I got to jump ship. I'm going to drop Mata and I'll get Fabregas and we'll go from there. Now, what I would suggest, and hopefully you haven't jumped the gun too soon, is give it time. Really for me, I'm looking at maybe picking up another Manchester United player. Maybe Rojo if he starts, and Januzaj maybe, or Januzaj. And then maybe swap out Rudy for Van Persie. There's a lot of options that I'm considering in scenarios, only because of their fixtures. Now, if you look at Man United's fixtures, they have Sunderland, Burnley away, then they have QPR, Leicester, so QPR home, Leicester away, West Ham, Everton home, and then West Brom. Now, if this was, if we fast forwarded, how many game weeks is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 7. So if we fast forwarded 20 game weeks, and some team like the Spurs or Manchester City or even Chelsea, if they had that run of fixtures, a lot of managers you would see would be going heavy into, those teams' coverages. So why wouldn't you want to do that now? Now, there's case for and there's a case against along with any decision that you're going to make. So you kind of want to look at both and you weigh the decisions and you make, and you base your decision off of that. Now, for me, I would probably go into it, and I am, and that's going to be my protocol moving forward, because it is fixtures, and even though United lost to Swansea in their opening game, they're going to want to, redeem themselves. Van Gaal is going to be really looking forward to getting this first win. Van Persie is coming back. Rojo is maybe starting. They might get Valencia back. So there's a lot of good, good things to look forward to in the next coming weeks. And you combine that with their favorable fixtures, I think there's a case there to actually have 3 Man United players on your team. Right now I have De Gea and I have Rooney. So I'll be looking for either a mid or another defense, and I say another defense because I consider a goalie a defense. Now, the case for against is just like the case for any other team. They're new, they're trying to find their form in terms of, their new formation and who's going to be playing where and what space to, run into and where to pass and just kind of gel as a team as a whole. And that's going to be common with any other team that you look at in the Premier League now, whether it's the Spurs, City, any team like that is going to be like that in the next 3 weeks. And that's why, you want to keep your transfers for one so you can adjust your teams. But if that is the case, in the against, I have a feeling that, for the 4, you're going to have a little bit higher or heavier weight in terms of why you'd want to get more Man United coverage. And really, if you frame it as if it was 20 weeks ahead, there would be a lot of managers doing the same thing. So I would expect managers to do that. If you haven't considered doing that yourself, I would recommend it. Now, this is totally based on whether you can afford it, because you don't want to get players who aren't going to be playing. That's where you might get hurt. So you have to weigh in who you currently have in your team and what you're willing to lose to get it. That's the way you got to kind of look at, whether you're going to be picking up players, is who am I willing to give up in order to get someone who's playing? Whether you're thinking of it's like a 4.5 defender, you got one in the bank, who am I going to lose to get Jones or Rojo because he's valued at 6? So you got to kind of consider what you're willing to lose and whether that's, going to be beneficial. If you're going to be losing a 5 defender off of Leicester or someone like that, then, you can consider it. But if you already have a well-diversified team with players who are good players and have played last week and you're considering or you think will play this week, then it might not be. You might want to wait until after the international break. We've had a rash, I shouldn't say a rash, but we've had price rises in the first week. We'll have price rises in the second week. And that might be the same players. Fabregas might get another 2 assists. He might get an assist in the goal. And then that's when really the bandwagon starts taking off. Could that happen? Yes, of course. Do we know if it's going to happen? No, we don't. So just consider those kind of scenarios when you're considering bringing in someone for a transfer. I know there's guys in my league who have already made transfers already. And some of the guys who were on top, they made, I think I had 51 points or something. I can confirm below or in the description later when I do the write-up. But, he's 5,000 out of Canada right now, and he's already made a transfer. So, you're always going to want to tinker, and that's kind of, can be a good thing, can be a bad thing, work against you. And as long as you're not taking hits, it won't really work against you. But, again, if you're tinkering all the time, you might miss a bandwagon and whatnot. So it's all part of fantasy, and that's what we all love. And I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you share it, and I hope you maybe got something, perspective or something that you might not have considered before. Again, if you have not subscribed, I would appreciate you to subscribe. I do these I do these videos every week. Preferably I try and get them out on Thursday evenings to give you time to actually formulate your own plan, consider what I've maybe said, and then moving into Friday night, Saturday morning when you make your transfers. And, we have double game weeks. We have fixtures that I look at. Really for captain options, I would probably look at Rooney this week as a captain option. And, another one that I would probably look at, maybe Fabregas too. But, again, it's all about fixtures at this point, and it's kind of up in the air in terms of form for players. So, I'm not really comfortable making recommendations this early in the season. So, some people might, blow up. You might catch a Sterling who gets a brace. You might catch a Sturridge who gets a brace. Just random players who you have in your team, but you just kind of, you punt it and you think, okay, you know what, I expect this to happen, or I hope that this happens because they're playing, a lower team, or they're playing a team that lost last week, or, all the scenarios that go through your head. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next Thursday. Take care.